Okay, so we continue in Shar Hakas, the gate of anger. And we're up to the paragraph starting Hakas Goyim Azus La'adam. So the Orchos Tzadikim continues. Anger causes azus, brazenness, causes a person to be brazen. So when a person is angry, he doesn't submit himself, he will not humble himself. And he won't admit that he made a mistake. A person gets all worked up, he gets all upset, and you're having an altercation. Now, it could be that I'm wrong, and this guy's, he made a point. And in the middle of my anger, I could realize on some level that I didn't realize that point he's making, and maybe he has a valid nakuda. But once a person is angry and worked up, he's not going to be moed al emes. He won't be able to. Amar Chacham said, and listen to this, is very interesting. If, let's say, you move to a new place or someone new moves in, and you want to know, is this a person that I should be friends with? Right? He seems like a nice guy. Is this someone that I get close to? Says the Chacham, Hach is Sehu. Get him angry. Now, it's an experiment, right? Get him angry, and we're going to see how he reacts, right? And if when he's angry, he's still moed al emes, he'll still agree that he made a mistake or he's wrong, then you should connect yourself to him, be connected to him. And if not, if he sticks to his guns, even though he's wrong, when he's angry, then leave the guy alone. So one question you can ask here is, it's usher to be angry. So for me to get someone angry is lifnei either. They ask this question. There is a Gemara in Kiddushin that talks about, it's a Kiddushin with kippur avim. Someone ripped a garment in front of his son to see if someone would get angry at the father or not. And the Gemara asked, it's about Tashchis. No, he ripped it on the seam, you could sew it back together. I don't remember if the Gemara asks this or if the Mefarshim, the commentaries, ask, but how could you test someone to see if they're going to get angry? Isn't that lifnei either? If the person if he get angry at it there, it's more than just getting angry. If he gets angry at his father, yells at his father, it's a violation of kibbut avayim. We had to share about that. So I'm not sure what the answer is over here also. I mean, the Chacham, the Orchos is quoting, is saying that you want to be in front of the guy, get him angry. Instigate, right? Incite him, get him to get all upset about something, and then see if he's moed al emes. So halacha l'maisa, I'm not sure how to do this in a way that's mutter. The idea being that's the only thing you have to know. All you have to know is if when he's angry, he's moed al emes, which means, we just said a second ago that a person who's angry will not be moed al emes. So what the Orchos Tzadikim means over here is that if he's moed al emes, that means he's not really angry. A person can get worked up about something. It doesn't mean he's bekatz. A person can be talking very passionately about something. He can even be raising his voice. It's one of the things when a person gets first married, you have to realize that when the husband is excited about something, he's talking, she might feel that he's yelling at her, right? But so a person can act excited and maybe be perceived as upset. But the litmus test is if he's moed al emes, as his face turns red and the steam is coming out of his ears, when he's moed al emes, so that's not real kas. He's not really angry. He's just a passionate person. But if he's not moed al emes, that means the person is angry, is a kasan, and that's someone that one should not be mischaber to. Interesting. Hakas, continues the Orchos Tzadikim, maybe lidei tos. It brings a person to make mistakes. It causes a person to err. Right? Like we said before, a person loses his seichel. It was earlier in this shar that it causes a person to not act logically. The other midas don't do that necessarily, but Kaz does. Who is greater? The greatest Jew to ever live, Moshe Rabbeinu. Three times in his, or it's recorded in the Torah, he got angry. He came to Kas, and each one of those times, on what his level was Kas, he came to make a mistake. As it says, Vayiktzov al Elazar v'Yisamar, by the Chanukas HaMishkan, he got upset that they didn't eat Korban Chatos. So he got upset. They were on him, Aaron HaKohen, explained to him why, but he got upset, and then he forgot the halacha that Kodshe Doris is different. That was what he forgot. Rashi explains there. Why didn't you eat the chatas? This is after Nadav and Avihu died, two of Aaron's sons. So the other two sons, as well as Aaron, are all oinanim. They have a status of an oinim. The day that a person dies, his relatives it's a din daraisa. If he's buried on that day, it's a din daraisa. They're oinanim, and oinanim can't eat kachim. So Moshe Rabbeinu made a mistake. B'nei Shimuna HaMoirim, back in Parshas Chukas, by the Chet, the Mei Meriva, where the Yidden, whatever exactly happened there, it says, Moshe Rabbeinu says to them, Shimuna HaMoirim, listen to me, the simple understanding, O rebellious ones. So he was, the way the Orchos was understanding it, he was upset. Uksivayach es hasela. And then he hit the rock. He was supposed to speak to the rock, and he hit the rock. And again, later on, I think it's Parshas Pinchas, it says Moshe Rabbeinu got upset at the Pekudei Achai. They went out to fight Midian, and they're supposed to kill everyone, and they didn't. So Elazar HaKoyin, Elazar was the Kohen Gadol at that time, had to tell Klal Yisrael Zois Chukas HaTorah about Hechsher Kalim and Tfilas Kalim. So why is Elazar HaKoyin telling the halachas to Klal Yisrael? Usually that was Moshe Rabbeinu's position. How come Moshe Rabbeinu is not telling them what to do? So the Medrash Rabbah says that since Moshe Rabbeinu got angry, he came to forgetfulness. He forgot the halacha. It is interesting and noteworthy that these are like the only three times, and maybe Riva was like the big, I guess, again, on Moshe Rabbeinu's level, the big sin. When we talk, from time to time, it's always good to chazan this. You talk about Moshe Rabbeinu, about Avram Avinu, other people, of our protagonists in Tanakh. They didn't have Aveira. He got angry, right? So in our minds, it's like, okay, so I also get angry. If you step on my foot, you step on my toe, I get angry too. So like, me and Moshe Rabbeinu, he was a bigger tzaddik, but okay, like we're on the same plane, at least in the same ballpark. But that's not the case at all. Like when this anger of Moshe Rabbeinu on our level would have been like the biggest mitzvah. One of my favorite Chassidish Meislach is the Chassidim are going to Tashlach, coming up soon, right? A couple weeks, 4 weeks. They're going to Tashlach, and the Rebbe is throwing his bread into the water. All of a sudden, there's one Chassid that comes and he jumps into the water. He starts taking the bread of the Rebbe and putting it into his pockets. Other Chassidim say, what are you doing? He's like, the Rebbe's Aveiras, his transgressions, for me, they're big mitzvahs. I only learned 15 hours today. I said 5 words that were not needed, that were not l'tzorich. The Rebbe's Aveiras are my mitzvahs. So when we learn about Moshe Rabbeinu getting angry 3 times, you have to understand that Moshe Rabbeinu's Aveiras are our mitzvahs. But on his level, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is medaktik. He judges a tzaddik, kichut hasayra, like a hair's breadth. Mamish is like very little room, if any, for making mistakes. The greater a person is, so it's all on his level. But it is interesting that was Moshe Rabbeinu's. That was what he struggled with in life. We'll say, right? Was kas. Obviously, he was at bay Kimat his entire life, but it seems that of all the midas, that was the midah that came out in 3 different times. Like we don't find a person in his position. Depression definitely could have been there, right? There could have been an ego for sure. There could have been an ego. He was like the most famous person in the world, but like that was not that didn't poke its head out anywhere. Those midas, but kas is something that we see coming up a few times in Moshe Rabbeinu, just an interesting thought. So says the Orchos Tzadikim, V'ata Haven, understand now, Im kach higia l'Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom, if that's what happened to Moshe Rabbeinu, ma yagia l'ksilim ha'kayasim. Right, and that was Moshe Rabbeinu's punishment. He forgot the Torah, which is what his whole tachlis was to receive the Torah from Hashem, bring it down. He forgot that. So other foolish people, imagine what's going to happen to them. It says in Koheles, also we're going to read it soon by the Shem Sukkah's time, that a person shouldn't be so quick to get angry. A person has to calm down. And a person must be very careful. If a person feels his blood boiling, he feels himself getting angry, he has to be very, very careful not to commit any destructive acts while he's angry. Don't take a piece of paper and rip it. The person shouldn't take something and throw it across the room. Because the rabbis teach us, Chazal, Gemara and Shabbos, Daf Kuf Hamid Beis, a person who rips clothing, excuse me, a person who throws his money away, he breaks vessels, utensils. When he's angry, it should be in your eyes as if this person is worshiping idolatry. It's avodah zarah. This is the way the Yetzer Hara works. Is all the Gemara. Today it says, okay, so you should get upset. I should take my phone and slam it on the floor. And then tomorrow it's going to tell me that I should, slam my car into the wall of the guy's house. I don't know. And then next, until Mamash leads to avodah zarah, and he does it. So the Yetzer Hara knows, excuse me, the Yetzer Hara knows that if he tells this Yid, Yankel, go do avodah zarah, that's not going to happen. Yankel's a from Yid. He's not doing avodah zarah. But if he tells him, start off with something subtle, do this first. First, when you get upset, throw something down. Then that's going to lead to, that's going to be a problem. That's going to get him to do avodah zarah. A person shouldn't have within him an elzar. The eze elzar should be girish adam. What is the foreign deity? What is the avodah zarah that potentially resides within the person, inside the person? Elzar. It shouldn't be inside you, a foreign deity. Say Chazal is a Yetzer Hara. It's referring to the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. That's the avodah zarah within. Look what the Yetzer Hara does when a person is angry. I'm trying to think where I heard a Meiser recently. I think it's a recent Meiser. It might even be with I don't know if it was with a Jewish person even, but I don't know if I read somewhere, I saw somewhere that the guy was saying how he got divorced because he got angry. He didn't do anything. He didn't hit. There was no physical anything. Just one thing led to the next, and he said something, and then it's just like he saw that from there the whole thing just spiraled out of control. Where if he just would have kept himself, as we say, still, he just would have been quiet, he could have avoided the whole thing. There are many times things just like explode, and even though when a person is younger and you look at older people and adults, you see like, wow, like mature, responsible, intellectual people. But as a person gets older, they kind of see that everyone, certain people at least are childish, and over dvarim shel mabakach, over things that are like not at all really chashuv, you can have lives ruined and people getting upset and bearing grudges and etc. So that's what it's saying. That the Yetzer Hara is very smart, and will try to get a person to do something when he's angry, and eventually, that's the Gemara's example, where the Yetzer Hara starts, and eventually will get that person to do avodah zarah. So the next time a person feels his blood boiling, and he's about to say something, he's about to do something in his anger, he has to realize this could be avodah zarah. It might lead to avodah zarah. Let's see one more paragraph. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, Arba midos b'dayis. There are four types of, types of people. Noyach lichois v'noyach lirtzois. A person is easily angered and he's easily appeased. That's good. He fly off the handle in no time for no real reason. But also, he doesn't stay angry. He'll calm down. So that midah of being easily appeased is not really, it's going to get him anywhere, because that he's easily angered kind of negates that he's easily appeased. You If a guy, it's hard to get him angry, but once he gets angry, that's it, you're finished. The friendship is over. He's going to bear the grudge the rest of his life. Again, Yotzev Seder B'schara. So his hefsid, the fact that he's kosher l'irtzos, again, is negated by the fact that he's kosher l'chos. It's a wash. Both these people, it's a wash. Then you have kosher l'chos v'noyach l'irtzos, a person who's hard to get him angry. He's an easygoing guy. He's not makpid. He doesn't get angry at people. You know, if he gets angry, it's once in a blue moon where the person mamish really deserves it. And he's noyach l'irtzos. When he does get angry, he calms down and he forgives very quickly. That's a chassid. It's interesting. It's a Gemara. That's a chassid, okay. Noyach Mishnah Pergelis. Noyach lichos v'kosher l'irtzos rasha. A person who is easily angered and very hard for him to forgive, that's a rasha. It is, again, it's interesting that we're teaching up a person, whether he's a chassid, which is the highest darga, highest level, or a rasha, based on kas, right? Not based on chesed, not based on, lashon hara or Shabbos, or how he speaks to people, if he's nice to them, or and it's not even a positive midah, right? If he's kosher lichos, if he doesn't get angry, if he can't easily, he is a chassid. It's funny. It's not even if he's like a lefnim mishuras hadin yid who's moiser nefesh for Talmud Torah or for davening or whatever it might be. If it's hard to get him angry and he calms down easily, that is a chassid. Now, look, obviously, the Mishnah does not mean to say that all else goes as long as you don't get angry, right? What the Mishnah is saying is that a person like this, it's an indication that he's a chassid. And a person who gets angry easily and doesn't calm down easily, it's an indication that person is a rasha. These four midas, character traits, were said corresponding to a tzaddik. So says the Orchos Tzadikim, if a person gets angry at good people or at things that go on in the world, that's what we're talking about. But if a person doesn't get angry at those who are violating mitzvahs and who are, a person who's like, is a person doing an aveira. You see a young kid hitting an old person, whatever, who knows, maybe, no, then you get angry. You want, what are you doing, right? There is a time to be bekas, at least to show that, right? So if a person sees an injustice, so then if he's noyach lichos there, if he's kosher lichos, that's encouraged. Zumi the raw. Should be sratz the rishon. He's letting evil people do what they're doing. The kosher noyach lichos ala tzadikim. The kosher lichos ala rishon. A person who gets easily angered at tzadikim. This happens often, and it's hard to get angry at the rishon. It's not his fault. But if a tzaddik does something he doesn't understand, how can he do that? Chil Hashem. And a person who's not from the Chazanish, this person has no patience for a from person, and he has all the patience in the world for not from people. That's also no good. A person is noich l'irtzos the Rishayim, a kosher l'irtzos the tzadikim is a Rosh Hashanah. So the Mishnah is talking about a person who's getting angry about good things. You shouldn't be getting angry about it. But there are times and places where anger is justified, at least showing that one is angry is justified. We'll pick up maybe this Nakuda next time, but we'll hold it here for now. Okay, have a good night.
Thank you, Rabbi. Quick question. I'll let you turn the recording off.